Welcome to the Tabs and Tash Podcast. I'm your host, Abdul, with my co-host.
Hey, Tashi here.
Tashi. So we have a new movie. I mean, it's an old movie, but it's Gran Torino, as you see from the title. But a little backstory to this. The reason why this movie was picked, I don't know if you know clearly, but it was because of a comment we had after we reacted to
Crime Macho.
Yeah. And someone left a comment that we should check out this movie. Mm-hmm. And it's top notch. So shout out to whoever. Dude, I can't remember the person's name.
Nah, dude, it was a while ago.
But you know yourself. Hopefully, yes, do subscribe to the channel. And yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just getting to a Gran Torino. So Tashi, just give us a little synopsis, then we'll talk about it a little bit more in depth, I guess.
Sure, yeah. So Gran Torino is a Clint Eastwood directed film, and he also stars in it. It is about a little bit of an old crotchety kind of man who's pure American that doesn't find himself in the current American scheme of things. He's an old school kind of guy, and he's found himself to be the last kind of Caucasian American in his neighborhood, which is now being mostly lived in by the Hmong community.
Yeah,
and he's kind of a loner in all respects since his wife died.
Yeah.
And he's not close to his family. He's got 2 sons and grandkids. But the movie starts off with them at her funeral, and you obviously get the vibe that he's not really interested or part of that era of America, because the kids are always just asking about like what the dad has. I mean, what Clint Eastwood's character has. Clint Eastwood's character is called Walt Kowalski.
Walt Kowalski. Such a badass name.
Yeah. And eventually he comes
just to break that down. Actually, Kowalski is from a wrestler. He got the name from a wrestler that he liked.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, a little hint and trivia on that. Yeah.
Kowalski, that's like a Polish name, right?
Yeah. It was a boxer or wrestler, one of those, sorry. And he liked the person, and that's why he gave the character that name. So go ahead.
Yeah, so then eventually a new family moves in right next door, and he starts to kind of get involved with them. But the real thing is he gets involved with the 2 kids of that family who are like American Hmong people. One is Sue, who is the older sister, and one is Tao, the younger son. And the son is kind of a very shy, loner kind of character too. So maybe that's why Walt kind of vibes with him.
In today's terms, I won't say he's a simp, but you know this new terminologies. They might say he's a beta male. Like he's not alpha.
He's definitely.
Have you had those terms recently?
I've heard.
Yeah, so he's not the most outgoing guy, not confident.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
And then they find themselves, significantly, Tao is kind of dragged into this gang that his cousin is part of, but Tao doesn't want to be part of it. And then Clint Eastwood steps in for a bit to kind of clear the air, and then that's where the start of the relationship between those 2 neighbors comes together. And then the gang is like kind of towering in the background until the end of the film. And there's a priest character that is very prevalent in the film as well, who kind of is asked by the wife of Walt that passed away to check in on Walt. And the film kind of goes on from there.
We never see his wife, do we? Never. Yeah.
No, I think there's only just a picture of her in a picture frame.
But yeah, and the gang is just behind, like in this new Asian community, which what were they again? Mississippi? I can't pronounce it well. Where were they in America again?
Oh, they're in the Midwest somewhere.
Yeah. But it's a situation where a lot of the white people are moving away. I believe in there a lot of people from
different minorities,
minorities are moving in.
Yeah. And
he's like the last one there. They're like, dude, why aren't you leaving? Like, get out of here. But he's so old school, and it's like, I'm not getting out of my lawn. I'm not getting out of my land. Like, this is for me.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's go into it a bit more.
Yeah.
Off the gate, we get the premise where Walt is just a serious person who doesn't like all the little shenanigans that's happening in his family. Although he raises his kids, like his son in particular, but you would think such a man would install that into his son, but obviously he doesn't, because what happens is that everyone wants something from him. His son, his son's wife, his grandkids.
Yeah, they all want, and they don't, there's no like giving. They're never giving anything to
Back
him
to
or
him.
even interested in how he's doing. Really, which is very sad. And even like there's also little things like the son sells like Japanese cars.
Yeah.
And the father worked in a Ford plant for his whole life, and he's like, "Oh my god, he's driving that Japanese
car." Did we mention this that he's racist? I think can we 100% stamp it that he's racist?
He's an old racist American man.
Yeah.
But I guess you could say he's got a heart of gold.
I don't know if at the beginning you would think he does have that. You just think he's just a bitter old man that doesn't want to accept time, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But you do give him a little bit of benefit of doubt because you're like being around such a family that don't even care for you that much. You're like, okay, you can see why he's so tough.
Yeah.
But again, he went to war, right? He's seen a lot of bad things. He has killed people. So people, I mean, they always say like people that go to jail and come out, if you don't, how do you pronounce the word? That's an R? Dude, I'm so bad with words.
Rehabilitation?
Rehabilitation, yeah. If you don't help them out with that, like they can go crazy. We see a lot of vet soldiers that come back and cannot go back into society.
Yeah.
So Walt does have a little bit of that where he wants to stick to the old ways of doing his things and people around him are like, hey, this is a new way of doing things. Kids are like sports nowadays. They don't care for culture or respect elders and all.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the key things in the film too that bridges him with the Hmong people is that they're still very instilled in a family kind of vibe that the parents have, like get respect from the kids, but the kids are still like themselves. In this world, it's like the kids have to, the American kids are always having to be told to do things, which is like a very key scene when he sees the one neighbor drop her groceries. And then Tao just goes over there to help her with it without being asked or anything. And then he kind of realizes like, okay, maybe like there's more in common with us personally than we do visually, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so now I think we should build on Tao because it's very important.
Yeah, Tao or Toad? Toad. Oh,
why does it call him Toad again?
I don't know.
I think
it's some racist.
It's not even the eyes. I don't know. He just didn't want to call him Tao. It's like,
there's
no, you're
so
Toad.
many.
And Sue, who does he have? Yum Yum?
Oh no, Yum Yum's
Sue, right?
Yeah, no, Sue's something else.
That's Tao's sister.
Yeah, Tao. Yeah, he calls her a dragon lady one time. That's pretty funny.
But let's talk about Tao because he's really important in this movie, right? Yeah. Then we'll get to the Gran Torino. I mean, the whole movie is called Gran Torino. But Tao is a kid who is a neighbor to Walt.
Yeah.
But he's a lonely kid where he's been, I mean, I don't know how the Asian culture is, but like he doesn't stand up for himself. So the women in the family tell him what to do. Like he gardens, washes the dishes.
Yeah.
He's not the masculine kind of figure.
Yeah.
So there's a point where he's going somewhere reading a book.
Yeah. He's just walking on the street with a book.
Yeah. And this gang that's in this community, and his cousin is part of this gang, are trying to get him to join.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to join, but there's another gang of Mexican. I mean, they only show up once.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but they come to Tao trying to look for trouble. And it just brings this little conflict where the Asian gang, quote unquote, protects Tao.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, come with us. You're in debt to us. Like, come join us. But Tao didn't join at that moment, right?
Yeah.
You want to add, I mean, okay, so just add a bit more on him. I don't want to talk too much about him, but add a little bit more.
Yeah, so
you're getting the idea of how Tao is not very outgoing guy who's confident, and he's not in a group or community. Like he's just a loner.
Yeah, he's not. He has no real. Like, I think there's parts in the movie where they mention like he doesn't really have much direction in his life.
No mentor
or a father role model.
Yeah,
and there's even parts when the mother says like, "Oh, I don't think he can be the man of the house because." He's very like simple and kind of
Sue has that more than him.
Yeah,
she's
Sue
more
has
confident, outgoing. She says what's in her mind.
Yeah, and that's even part when Sue says like, the Hmong like people in America, like the boys go to jail and the women go to college.
Yeah.
Because the boys kind of get sucked into these gangs.
It was reminiscent. Like there's a little similarity with like the black community a little bit. Although that's changing a bit more. Like because I've been on all this subreddits and the black community is trying, but still a lot of women are pioneering it, they're pushing it, they're more educated. But sorry, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
But then so that's Tao's pretty much vibe. So getting to the Gran Torino, Tao is pretty much forced into an initiation with the gang. He can't run from them anymore. It's his cousin, so he knows where he lives and everything. So he's initiated into stealing Walt's 1972 Gran Torino, which is just a sick-looking car.
Apparently, from what I have here, it's a Cobra jet engine.
Whoa.
Very few of those were made.
So now this is where Walt and Tao really come into contact. Tao tries to steal Walt's car in the middle of the night, and Walt catches him.
I mean, that whole dude. Okay, I'm going to cover a little bit. This whole movie is cheesy. Like, the ending brings everything together, but the acting is so bad. Like, that whole scene of him trying to steal. Like, what the hell was that? Like, then who's this? And the whole lights dangling. I'm like, I've seen this in like 20, 30 movies. Like, come on, man. You're better.
I didn't mind the vibe. I like the swinging light, but also
like you've seen that in so many movies, so many thriller movies, so many action movies.
But he also has Clint Eastwood's like 70 something making this movie, also directing and acting. But
fair enough.
But all the Asian actors, it's gonna be, you have to kind of get used to the acting, because they're all like they're not real actors. They're all, this is like their first and like only, I think this is like their own first and only project for most of the Asian actors in here.
I'll have to like Sue will have done more.
No, I think they found
her.
I think Sue and Tao were just like found by these casting directors.
Apparently she did Batman versus Superman.
Whoa, not just like someone significant though, right?
Probably she wasn't. I don't think she was. Probably like a side character here and there.
Like there's only like four. Yeah, it was like 4 credits in like 2000 since 2008.
Yeah, so she hasn't. Yeah, most of them are. You're right. They haven't done a lot of movies.
So you have to get used to that, and once you get used to that, it kind of
even Tao wasn't done. Okay, so I probably shouldn't bash them too much.
Yeah.
But the acting was bad.
The acting was quite bad. But I think it's better that they actually got real Hmong people instead of
I mean,
hiring
give them jobs,
and then it's just weird getting other Asians to play other Asians.
Way of saying sorry for how much racist stuff he said to them.
Yeah,
they really bashed that. Like
they say some
it wasn't
stuff.
them particularly. The whole Asian community, I felt.
Yeah,
it's like when Tropic Thunder came out and like Robert Downey Jr. was doing that. I was like, okay, at least in that context, it's a little bit funny. Even in this movie, it's funny.
Yeah,
but it's like, God damn, dude, are you supposed to be doing that?
It's true.
But in Eastwood, like, okay, he's an old grumpy guy.
Yeah, and also
he's acting, so we'll let him.
Yeah, and it's also Clint Eastwood. You have to like. He's very just charismatic, and it kind of works with his character. Yeah. And it's also like a great dichotomy for his character that he's like such a racist dude, but then eventually through the film, he just becomes like very close with this family, and it's kind of like hammers home this point of like, it's not where you come from or like what you look like, but it's about like values and the relationships you make and stuff like that, and who you are as a person. Which the great montage with Tao working for Walt after he gets caught trying to steal the car, and the parents are like forcing him to like work for Walt. That's when Walt kind of sees like how Tao is. Like he's actually just like, he's kind of like just a real old school American guy like Walt is. He just works hard, does what he's told. And he just
But don't you feel because he wasn't molded, Tao like hadn't found himself yet? He was being influenced a little bit. It's like, what do you like to do? Construction. Okay, we'll get you into construction and showing him the ropes, and Walt himself is build stuff. He does a lot of handy stuff, you know. Which is, and obviously, and all the tasks he told him to do were like handy stuff, the
gutters and stuff,
and stuff like that, and fix people's stuff.
Yeah,
but so you get the connection. Tao and Walt get this friendship. You can say a little bit. Maybe it wasn't strong at first because Walt didn't really care too much, but
it's very much they build like the father-son relationship,
almost, because. At that point, Walt doesn't have that with his son.
No,
his son is calling him. It's like, hey, do you want to go into
a home? Oh my God, yeah.
And his granddaughter's calling him, hey, I want your car. When you go,
like when you die.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, if you want to be smart and ask people for things, like you don't. You have to be a bit smarter. Like give them something so they give you back.
Yeah, like at least be like, yo, Grandpa, how you doing, or something like that. Yeah. Instead, they're just like, yo, when you die, do I get this?
I get that.
Oh my God.
You should sell the house. Let's get the money off the house.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But then, but that's Tao's character in a nutshell, and then Clint is the one that kind of provides that role model, especially throughout a lot of Tao's. When Tao goes into construction, like he, especially in the garden, he goes like I can't do construction. Like, what do you mean I can do construction? And then Clint's the one that's like, yo, you can do it. Like, you just have to like, once you get into it, you can't be like spreading my mulch in my. And then Tao's like, yo, if you pay me money, it's like, no. And then also Tao's relationship with the one other female, Yua, which Walt calls Yum Yum.
Oh, she's the one that called you. My apologies.
And then, but Walt's the one that's like, yo, stop being such a like sissy. And
he uses the
he uses more derogatory terms, but he kind of like really lights a fire under Tao in those moments.
All the low ass guys take.
He called it the Three Stooges. Yeah, he says a few other things more.
We're trying to be good here because he does say a lot. You should check out his video on YouTube.
Dude, watch the film though and just be ready for that stuff. I don't know, but
they're funny. Some I don't know. Okay, I'm not Asian, so I should say.
Abdul didn't find this. I found it super funny. And I'm Asian, so like I love.
Oh yeah, okay.
I enjoy Gran Torino.
They were funny. I mean, you could tell he was saying like joking, serious way, but he's acting, right?
Yeah, and please, people, when you watch a movie, it's just a movie. Just accept,
man. This world is different nowadays.
I know. As long as
that won't pass.
Yeah, that passes. As long as it's in the right direction, like it's got like heart behind it. But like, that's Tao's character in a nutshell.
Then we have Sue's sister. So we're just gonna mention a few characters.
Yeah.
Sue's sister, who is a strong one, and there's the scene where the popular scene where she's with this guy she's seen, I guess, and there's this three black guys that come to harass them, and she's so you could tell that she's the outgoing lady who's strong. It's like, oh, you men like trying to
were you trying to scare me while her like date this
he's just
played by Clint Eastwood's son.
He's kind of Terry, like he has like a cameo. It's pretty much a cameo. I would say like what, maybe 2-3 minutes.
And he just plays like some kind of
guy that wants to be black guy.
One of those bro guys.
Bro guys.
And that's got the great scene where Clint Eastwood comes in.
That bro guy.
And, man, you ever what's he say? Oh shoot, you ever come across a guy you shouldn't have like effed with?
Yeah,
that's me. It's just a great scene, and it shows that like that old school way of doing things, and how it's like very just kind of shocking at times, but it works. He just brings out a gun and puts it right in their faces.
Okay, so we're gonna run a little bit. You should watch the movie, but we're gonna fast forward a little bit. So it gets to a point where the whole movie is getting together. It gets to a point where, as we said, Tao wants to do some construction stuff. He gets in trouble with the gang who are like, "Hey, why aren't you joining us?" And they pretty him, rough him up a little bit. Mess up his equipment. And then Walt decides to go retaliate a little bit, and he beats one of the gang members up
to try and protect Tao and the family,
thinking like that will protect them. But then that backfires. You can say that part.
And, that really backfires, and it's really a roller coaster because they have that moment right before what's going to happen, where Clint's with the family, and Tao's got the Yua girl.
So everything's going good. You think everything's happy ending.
And then comes like there's a drive-by shooting at Tao's family's house. So this is the gang
retaliating for Walt beating the gang member.
And then they find out that Sue's not home, and they don't know where she is. And then eventually in the evening, Sue comes home and she's been beaten and raped by the gang. And this is where Clint kind of just goes off the rails, because he actually has something that he wanted to try and protect, but he couldn't, and he feels like it's all on him now. That's where Clint Eastwood kind of has his kind of meltdown scene, smashing things up, and he speaks to the priest after that. And that's a significant scene.
Goes for his confession, because the priest, we didn't mention, but the priest was trying to get a confession of him because his wife did request that. For like her last dying wishes, but he finally does it, because I think at that point he had already planned to do what he was going to do at the end. Right?
So pretty much Clint is now just preparing to figure out a way to handle this gang for good, because he realizes right now in this community, as long as the gang is there, Tao and his family are never going to be safe.
People they're going to come in the future, and kids are always going to land into that kind of scenario.
Eventually, Tao might actually join that gang and become part of that. So at this point, Clint decides to make a final stand, and he pretends to Tao that they're going to go together. And Tao comes over, and he ends up just locking him in the basement. And Clint kind of says, like, this is going to be it. You don't want blood on your hands. He's pretty much saving Tao from making mistakes that he was forced to make when he was younger as in the War of Vietnam. So, yeah, do you want to go into the very ending now?
So Walt decides to go meet the gang members, and he talks to them a little bit, like, tries to tell them, like, you guys think you're tough.
Yeah, he kind of tries to rile them all up.
Yeah, rile them all up, and then he fakes like he's going to draw a gun.
Yeah.
And instead he draws out a lighter to light his cigarette.
Yeah.
And then they shoot him. They kill him, and because of that, the police comes by and like they arrest everyone in that building. And he pretty much sacrificed himself for the whole community. You know? I think he finally found peace and was like, from where he least expected it, he found true friendship and true love, actually.
Yeah, and
more than his family.
Yeah, like a real family, right? Like, that's what he was able to find. And the movie ends off with the great scene where they read the will of Walt, and everyone's
expecting things from him, and he gives the house.
He gives the house to the church, because that's what my wife would want.
Yeah, and then the prize Gran Torino.
Yeah, and then I love the guy that's reading the will is like, there's some derogatory language here, but it's Walt.
So I wouldn't say as it says.
And then he ends up giving the Gran Torino to Tao, who I think it was pretty much his, like, it felt like his real son by that point.
At that point.
He had like really blended in with that community and family. And that's kind of how Gran Torino goes. And it ends off with Tao driving off into the sunset. And personally, I hate when movies I hate movies that have the drive away in the sunset scene. But this one gets a pass. Because it was just good. Like,
And the soundtrack, the score at that point was good.
Yeah, they have Clint actually singing
a little bit.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like dialogue singing a little bit.
Sing song. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, this movie, for me, watching it, the ending brings everything together. You get the whole picture of it, and the lesson you learn from it's amazing. But watching it through, I was like, it was such a janky movie. It was not good. I was like, what am I watching? This is supposed to be the world-renowned Clint Eastwood. Like,
dude,
it was so bad. There were funny scenes in there. I was like, oh, this is funny. But the dialogue they give the characters, like, thankfully, you explained that part that this was maybe some of them the first movies ever performing in it. But it was amazing. It showed the culture of people. Like he really represented that. Even when they came to the church, they were wearing that attire.
Yeah, when the funeral. Oh my God,
the funeral. So it's an amazing movie all in all. But I think the main point of the movie is the message. Like the idea that like don't just judge people off the bat. You know, you can find friendship, love, learn from the place where you least expect it. You know? And I think that's what I got from it. Is that how you felt too?
Yeah, especially. And I think just the character of Walt Kowalski, like the old kind of like very opinionated and straightforward person. I think there are people like that like out there, and I've like met a few of those people that are really like, and I think that way of speaking to people really does reach certain kinds of people better than other people, I guess. But there have been times when I've had like conversations with like elderly white people that kind of just speak very brash, and it's because I remember
no filter, nothing.
Yeah, because I remember one time I was at like I saw like a play, and there was this old lady, and she was very nice. She was sitting beside me, and then I watched it, and then she's like, "Oh, how'd you like it?" And I was kind of like young, so I was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really like my opinion doesn't matter." And then she just like, "Never say that again."
Wow.
Like your opinion matters, and I'm asking it because I want to know about it. And I was like, "Oh,
how old are you then?"
I was in like, I think my first year of university. I took like a drama class, and I went to like a theater play, and I didn't really know much about theater. I just took it because it looked fun. And then that lady, I still remember that very vividly because she was just like, "Yeah, like your opinion really matters," and she said it like so straight up that I was like, and like in my community, we don't really talk like that. We kind of we slide things in, like especially like my family and stuff. We're like, yeah, so like you should be doing this and like this, like don't be doing, but like we'll never be like, yo, that's not right. Like,
you don't say straight to your face.
No. We don't usually.
I read a quote and it said that's the best friendship or relationship you can have with someone.
Yeah,
when you're direct,
you can actually be truthful, and the person will tell you when you do something wrong and you do something. It's hard to find, but when you find it, like hold on to that, because a lot of people are pretty filtered. They don't want to say their mind. Personally, I feel I'm like that. I try to draw that back a little bit, because usually when you're that honest and open-minded, there can be miscommunication.
Yeah, there could be a lot of miscommunication. But
I think it's especially though in like my family, like when you're like younger, they like really don't do that stuff. I don't know what, but like now that I'm older with like my parents and stuff, we have more like direct line of conversation.
Same thing with me. Me and my dad have never been as close as we are now. Yeah, it's so weird. As a growing up, never like it's never really
like you never really have like direct conversations, right? Like you're not like really friends.
No,
you're just
my dad's like my friend now.
Yeah, dude, that's the same with my parents too. Now they're like actually like we're friends. We like talk and like
we don't go too far, but like we can talk so much.
Yeah,
that it's so like I talk to my parents every Sunday.
Yeah,
and I call my dad. My dad is like talking to a grown ass guy that wants to be young again. That's how my dad sounds. Yeah. That's like so what's happened? But my dad moves like that. My dad likes to learn. That's his personality.
Dude, that's like my mom too. Like now, like I like, because she's got like she's like up to date with like tech stuff.
Yeah,
now.
So my dad's that.
She's sending me emojis and stuff. I'm like, yo, when did you learn how to do all this? She's like, I've been talking with my friends on WhatsApp and stuff. And I was like, you know more about emojis and all these things than I do. Like, what are you doing?
Oh my god, no.
It's great. But I think when I was younger, I would never have like those kinds of
never.
Aunts and uncles were just very like,
why do you think so? Do you think it's because they don't think what mentally developed to that point to understand?
I think they're just
they're afraid to
I think there's like some kind of fear on both sides that you don't want to say the wrong thing.
If you give a kid that kind of impression from as you're growing up, like and you put the boundaries and respect, they'll respect those boundaries, but then you get that close connection with your child, and it's longer than when you're older, and it's like a few years. And you feel sad when you're older and you're having this great. You're like, oh, I wish I had this when I was energy. Like that's what's happening. Probably my dad thinks about that.
Yeah, dude, they definitely do, and I think it's like,
and they probably have little regrets. Oh man, maybe we could have tried this better. Maybe because my dad always mentions like be patient. I tell him about what we're doing, and he's like, you have seen life, and the best way to go with life is just be patient. Like walk towards what you want and keep trying, but be patient. It will come if you keep going along. But with the way the world is now, we don't really have patience or time.
Yeah, it's kind of
there's so much distractions that people don't want to wait.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we should wrap it up a little bit.
Yeah.
We can talk with more and longer, but I think we should kind of wrap it up now. So
what you got for the review?
For the review for the movie, this was okay. Acting was shit. I'm sorry for my word, but it wasn't good. I love some of the dialogue, but they were quite simple, little setups, like things you have seen, like bad movies, something like, no shade to Nicolas Cage, but things that Nicolas Cage would say in his movies. So that put it down a little bit, but the story, the moral of the movie is something that is staying with me, and it's something I really love about what Clint Eastwood did.
Yeah, and I think it's like done a different way than that story is usually told, right? Like
it's not just shoved like those kind. It's definitely a different way. It's not what you even fully expect. It's when you're coming to the end of the movie, like you're trying to get the concept of understanding. It's like a message to other. It wasn't maybe for other cultures to know like, hey, respect these people's culture, right? So because of all of that, I will give it a strong 4 out of 5.
Wow, nice.
I know I said so many, but I think this is a real high rating I'm giving this movie. Yeah. But I think because of the message and what you can learn from it, that's why it's not the acting, none. Even the writing was bad. But emotionally, it got to me. That's why I'm giving it 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion. And when I check the reviews, people don't like this movie so much.
Yeah, this movie, it's like hit or miss with a lot of people.
Yeah, some people say it's good, some people say no.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 is too much, but it's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
So 4 out of 5.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, I'm giving it I'm gonna go solid 3.5.
Okay.
And it's just I personally really like this movie a lot. Like it's like one of my favorite movies to just like throw on because it's like so entertaining. And like all those cheesy lines, dude, I love like campy stuff like that once in a while. And Clint Eastwood like delivers them great.
And like Shang-Chi, goddammit.
Yeah. And also the voice and everything. Like I think the character Walt Kowalski is like really well built.
Yeah, well built. I mean,
And-
it's Clint, he'll probably build himself.
Yeah. And also just delivered very well by Clint. And I think there's lots of heart behind it. And he does like he's really like putting out like this really positive message
Yeah, it's a message.
that like also is just a message that I think a lot of people should see, but that are kind of afraid to see. Like they don't want that kind of direct line, and they're afraid to speak with these kinds of people that they see are racist. Because once you like someone's racist and they're saying like these derogatory terms, you automatically just cut them off.
Yeah.
But the good thing about this Hmong family was that they were actually tried to actively integrate Clint Eastwood's character, and then once you really get time with each other is when you can really find out we're all just like humans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Anyway, leave a like, leave your comments, let us know how you felt about the movie if you have watched it. If you haven't watched it, tell us what you felt from our review, and go see the movie. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really important, I felt. It's something, if you haven't seen it, see it, in my personal opinion. So leave a like, share if you can, subscribe if you want. And any last comments that you want?
Thank you to the person that commented for the Cry Macho video. And I hope more people, if we do more reaction videos, do comment and mention movies that they
recommend
like.
Movies.
Yeah, because we're always interested in seeing.
Yeah, like those guys. See, we reviewed this movie.
Yeah.
Hopefully you leave a comment.
Yeah, man. I'd love to hear your opinion.
Yeah, we'd like to hear your opinion, how you felt about how we felt about the movie.
Great.
All right, take care, people. Peace.
Bye.
And that's it for another episode of the Tabs and Tash Podcast. Wow.